Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we are going to be in Mimi's garden looking at winter interest in a mature shade garden. Sometimes that can be a little challenging to do, to have a gorgeous winter interest, especially in a shade garden, because you have a lot of our shade loving perennials are deciduous, but I'm going to show you how Mimi has done a fantastic job of that. Of course, Mimi is my mama. That is the name that the grandchildren call her, so just everybody knows her by Mimi. My parents have lived in their house for 47 years, and it's really been the last probably 20 years, maybe even a little bit less than that, that Mama has been really devoted to her garden, because she was a teacher, and once she retired, she took all of her skills outdoors to her garden and has just been developing and loving this garden for those 47 years. So I thought it would be great to have just a walk through. Here we are in December, right? And it can be challenging. Mimi does a great job in all of her whimsy with her plantings, with her garden art, with how she puts things together. And so I just wanted to share that with you, to be an inspiration. I know that she's an inspiration for me, and I'm always taking little nuggets away from her. Even though my garden is a full sun garden, there's always something that you can learn from visiting other gardens, whether it being your mama's garden, a botanical garden, videos like this where you can tour, take a virtual tour of somebody else's garden. So we're going to hop around her garden and look at those really fun winter interest areas. The one is that just hits me off the bat as soon as we kind of come up, and you can see that, you know, behind there is production. So that tells you how close we are to each other. This flower bed is definitely gets some filtered sun a little bit, but her garden really is a shade garden. She lives underneath all of these pine trees. She does not have one stitch of grass in her yard because it just does not work. So they transition to even having natural areas like this. Is just the pine needles that will naturally fall. So in this flower bed, it's great, right? So for example, garden art. This was a weather vane. I'm not sure if this was the weather vane that was on my daddy's woodworking shop. He got a new one. I'm not exactly sure where this one came from, but here she goes. She took a weather vane and she turned it into that garden art, and it is, of course, that cute little rooster. You're going to see a lot of the same plants repeated, but maybe they're different cultivars, different varieties. One plant that Mimi is a huge fan of is epimedium. Epimedium is a low-growing, what I would call semi-evergreen ground cover that will naturalize very slowly. It slowly spreads, and you can get different colors. It will bloom in the spring into summer, but this is a great one, right? So she has it just lining this flower bed. She's got, it looks like this is an Abelia. So she's got an Abelia here. You're going to see lots of autumn ferns, camellias, rhododendrons, tons and tons and tons of azaleas. These azaleas are going to be what I call your grandmama's azaleas, meaning that these are ones that prefer more of the shade. They are going to bloom one time in the spring, so those old-timey classic azaleas. She's got a bunch of them here. She's got a couple of the Florida Sunshines, right? So you've got dark green, different shades of green, beautiful chartreuse. And you might notice that she has the same wrought iron obelisk that I have, trellis, whatever you want to call it. She actually got hers first, and I copied her and got one from out white by the gate. And so Feather Falls. I love Feather Falls Carex, and so does Mimi. So you can see that these were probably planted at different times because they're of different size. But this one in the back, man, she's a beaut. Love it. Now, Mimi is also the absolute queen of containers. And so this is, like, for an example, how I take inspiration from her shade garden for my sun garden. Here we have a collection of pots that all have perennials in them. And they are going to be roughly all in that same color palette, right? So they're different shades of blue. She has little stump risers that, because my daddy is a woodworker, and so he's always cutting down trees and have stumps. So she took stumps of different levels to raise them up off the ground to give interest, and then she just fills them with whatever kind of perennial that she wants. So the ones that are, quote, empty right now, those would be where hostas are. So she's got hostas in here. She's got some eucharis. She's got another grass. She has got the cast iron plant. You're going to see a lot of the cast iron plant. And there's that epimedium again, right? So mixing all of those together just creates some fun interest. You're going to notice also throughout her garden that she has a lot of wind sculptures. And every time we do these videos, people will ask about these wind sculptures. She has been collecting these wind sculptures for probably that 20-something years that since she has retired. These are all by the artist of Lyman Whitaker. Lyman Whitaker is, I want to say he's like Arizona, Utah, something like that. So you have to find an art gallery that has his pieces. Mama has gotten all of hers from the Grove Wood Gallery in Asheville, North Carolina. If you're familiar with the Grove Park Inn, this is the Grove Wood Gallery is associated and very close to the hotel and the inn. So you're going to see a lot of those pieces throughout her garden. And so she just absolutely loves them. And I would not say that the wind is blowing. I don't know if you can see this one back here. I would not say the wind is blowing at all. But the slightest little disturbance in the breeze in the air makes these turn. So she loves them, obviously, as you're gonna see as we go through. Now, another big thing that is a blessing and a curse, if you were to ask Mama, is her hellebores, her Lenten roses. Now, the vast majority of her hellebores are going to be what I call, again, the old-timey kind that reseed. And she has them everywhere. So those that reseed, she has probably given away more hellebores. I mean, if she could have gotten a dollar for every one that she's given away, she would probably be a very rich woman. So you can see that these hellebores, these are all hellebores that have spread and naturalized through this area. And y'all, I guarantee that she's probably given away 5 times as many that are sitting right here. But what we love about hellebores, of course, is that they are evergreen. They're deer resistant, they're rabbit resistant, and then of course in late winter, early spring, they will bloom and they are beautiful. These kind that constantly spread can be a little bit of a nuisance over time. A lot of the newer varieties, the ones that I have, are sterile. So they're not going to spread seeds everywhere and go crazy. So like I said, it's a blessing and a curse all in the same time. All right, let's find another fun little area of Mimi's with that winter interest. If you were to ask Mimi, she would not say that this, she'd say, oh, Jenny, this looks terrible right now. But I want to show this to you so that you can get an idea of what a shade garden can look like in December in the South. You can have a whole selection of ferns. Beautiful. I know right now they're not looking their best. I get that. I understand that. But the flower bed is not completely bare. So we have in here, she has got a gazillion different kinds of ferns. They're not all evergreen, but she does have some that are evergreen. So she has got ferns in here. This pulmonaria is the shrimps on the Barbie. This pulmonaria is such an awesome plant. You can see that she has got 3 of these. Years ago, there might actually be 4 down there at the end. Years ago at the nursery, we grew these, and so she grabbed some. We actually are growing them again, and we have them on the website. But here we are in late December. We have had multiple nights in 18 degrees, low 20 degrees. Look at this pulmonaria. It is fuzzy, so it is more deer resistant, rabbit resistant. It is a huge piece. Now, could she divide this? I'm sure she absolutely could if she wanted to, but she doesn't want to. She loves it nice and big. I can't blame her. I'd love it nice and big too. And then in the springtime, it does these beautiful pink flowers, hence its name, Shrimps on the Barbie. So this pulmonaria is such a fun Pulmonaria is beautiful. Clearly, it loves its spot. Y'all, that's every bit of like 2.5 feet wide. So great. She'll do stepping stones. So she's got stepping stones through here, and then she has her little carex grasses. So you just step between the grasses and you come on through, right? Lots of options through here as far as color. Right now, this is the area that maybe looks a little sad, right? If you want to call it sad. All of these are azaleas, and y'all, hopefully we'll have a good year for spring azaleas. She had a massive season of azaleas, like when I say like the flowers were a couple of years ago. And just imagine, again, these are the old-timey azaleas, bloom once in the spring and that is it. Gorgeous, stunning. If you are a southerner, you know what I'm talking about when you have a good azalea year, and it always seems to happen around Easter time. And I don't care if you're 6 months old, 6 years, 16 or 60, you're going to find yourself standing in front of some azaleas taking those Easter pictures. Am I right? So that is what these are. I have so many beautiful, sweet, precious pictures of my kids when they were babies and when they were older, getting their pictures made in front of these azaleas. Now, these do bloom on old growth, and this past summer, Mimi went to town and she whacked the heck out of them. I mean, and y'all, she did it by hand with her clippers, right? So she came through and hand pruned all of these azaleas to keep them nice and tight and to keep that growth going. Yeah, it was a labor of love for sure. She and Jackson were tackling it together some days. But okay, talking about fun whimsy, this is what I'm talking about, y'all. Between my mama and my daddy, they have a fun sense of garden art. So this is just a reclaimed, this was an old like piece of wood that daddy found, somebody found in the woods, right? And then my daddy, like I said, is a woodworker. So he has made her this birdhouse. So it really is a functioning birdhouse, but then all of the whimsy. So this doesn't really turn. Who knows what this is from? Some sort of piece of machinery, some knobs. And then look at the top, y'all. An old watering wand. I mean, how stinking cute and hilarious is that? Yet another, this would be where you would cut wood, right? So you would put on a drill and it would spin and it would cut the hole. So there you go. Between the two of them, and I would not say, I don't think either one of them would say that they are creative, artistic people at all. They just simply have fun. And then there's something on the other side. Oh, yep, then there's another knob on the other side. So both Mama and Daddy, they just enjoy it, right? And so having fun with that, you're going to see a lot of these little birdhouses throughout here that Daddy has made Mama over the years. Okay, so here we go. Repeating, you've got another holly fern. We had holly ferns down here. You've got more epimedium littered in there with Lenten roses. The Lenten roses are going to be all throughout here. More ferns, rhododendrons. Here we have a different kind of hellebore. Some people say this looks like some other plant out there. It's not. I promise it is a hellebore. It has some funky leaves to it, but it's just a different type of Lenten rose. So she has got those. And then, of course, the azaleas. These azaleas are, they're probably every bit of 45 years old. So they have been here for a long time. This is a fun spot that I really enjoy what Mama has done. So again, taking that reclaimed wood that they find out in the woods, and in the summertime, Mama has pots on top of these. And they've always historically have been pots that have hostas in them. And so obviously with the winter and being colder and the wind blowing, so she takes them down. But yet another Lyman Whitaker piece right here. She's got different kinds of hellebores in here. She does do a good job of naming them and labeling them. So here we have one that has a little bud. This particular one is elemental. So there you go. Whatever elemental is, that is what it is. But you can see, like this one has, we've got another bud right here. That one is Vibey Velvet. So Mama is a master gardener, so she gets a ton of plants with her master gardener friends when they do go on field trips to different nurseries and all sorts of things. So she has quite the collection. She has quite the collection of hydrangeas. So winter interest for your hydrangeas. You think, well, my hydrangeas, mine look like this, or mine look like this, these sticks. Mama has plenty of oak leaf hydrangeas, and if you're looking to add that winter interest into your shade garden, I would highly encourage you to look at some of the oak leaf hydrangeas. They will all do this. They take these beautiful leaves that look like oak leaves, right? They have gorgeous fall color, and look, like this is it holds onto its leaves for a long time. So you will see throughout here that any of these hydrangeas that are holding on to their leaves, 9 times out of 10, those are going to be your oak leaves. My macrophylla, my smooths, even my serratas, my arborescents, all of those have lost their leaves and they look quite bare. However, if you can get your hands on all different kinds, they come in different sizes and different, maybe they're more cream, maybe they turn a little pink, doesn't matter. Your oak leaf hydrangeas give you gorgeous winter interest in your garden. Another fun one that you might think of, oh, look at her. So she's got camellias. I haven't checked on mine. We went to Camellia Forest together a couple of years ago, and we both got this camellia. Now this may not look like a camellia to you, but it is. Let me go back over here. It is a weeping camellia. So look, all of these are buds right here. And they will open up to create these really soft, sweet little white flowers. This is Snowbells. Yep, Snowbells camellia. And so hers is looking awesome. I need to go check on mine because mine's a little bit further away from my house. And so, yeah, so this is great. So Snowbells. So you have camellias, right? The ferns, and we'll look at some other camellias. Sometimes she struggles with her camellias because while she is in the right conditions for camellias, the vast majority of camellias, they like that filtered sun, but she does not have any irrigation in any of her gardens. So anything that you see, you can't say, oh, well, it's because she has drip irrigation. No, she does not. She has no irrigation here, so anything that has to have water, she'll hand water, or it just has to survive on its own. So Mimi is definitely the gardener of tough love. So she is not gonna baby something. It has got to perform well, and then when they do perform well, they perform really well, like those Lenten roses, and they multiply, and she will move them throughout the garden. So keep in mind when you're looking at this, if you're a new gardener, or you have a relatively new garden, and you are not very patient like your host today, you have to remind yourself, okay, it takes time to build a mature garden. Mimi's the perfect example of that. So she does have a ton of autumn ferns in here. You're gonna see those feather falls a lot because it just does so well here. And this is such a great one. If you're not familiar, it's called an arborvitae fern. And it's not really an arborvitae. They call it an arborvitae fern because, one, it is evergreen, but in the winter, like an arborvitae tree or shrub, it will take on some coppery, bronzy hues to it. Now, this is so fun because this is what it does. It forms this mat and it will slowly spread. I don't know how many arborvitae ferns she started out with here, but you can see that as it has grown and she has, divided it and moved it. So you have got these stunning, gorgeous display of ferns right here. She doesn't have very much sun at all, but when she does find a spot, she enjoys it. So like this little sweet little container right here with some violas in it. So this obviously gets enough sun that these violas are very happy right here. And then as we move down this kind of like little island bed right here, again, you'll notice all of those same things repeated. Do not ever be afraid or think, okay, well, I have a a shade garden, I can only do this plant. No, that's not true at all. There are so many different great varieties and cultivars of evergreen ferns, of carexes, of camellias, of azaleas, of rhododendrons, of hydrangeas. I mean, the world is your oyster. You just have to know what type of plant works there, and then find the different varieties and cultivars that really thrive in your area. I know the grass is always greener somewhere else. I envy Mimi's garden really a lot in about July and August, because her garden is at least 20 degrees cooler than mine. I can't be outside past 10 o'clock in the morning because I absolutely fry, where she can be outside all day. Now on the flip side, this time of year, she can't get into her garden until like 2 or 3 sometimes in the afternoon because it's cold, where I'm out in the full sun and living life. So, you know, it's all about perspective, my friends. So again, whole collection of her gorgeous oak leaf hydrangeas, and we talk about this oak leaf hydrangea. It is a beast. I don't know exactly which variety this is. I don't know if this was Alice. I don't know who this is, but she is every bit of 10 feet tall and probably 12 to 15 feet wide. Huge. Again, gorgeous hellebores. They are stunning when they bloom. She also has lots of Edgeworthia. Edgeworthia, the paper bush, is just the coolest plant because it has lost its leaves, right? But it has all of its flower buds right here. So you have got these gorgeous flower buds that when they open up in about February, they're going to be these orange blooms, tubular blooms that have the heaviest fragrance. They are fantastic. This Edgeworthia is every bit of, I don't know, 8 feet wide. It is spectacular. So not only does she just have this one, she's got multiples. She's got another one right here. And so her yard smells just divine later on in this season. This is such a fun gazebo. It has the Confederate jasmine on it, a great evergreen vine. These are 2 plants, my friends. 2 plants that there's one here that has completely covered the gazebo. That's exactly what she wanted it to do. And yeah, come late spring, it blooms, and it is the most fragrant, lovely plant. And so this is a great option if you're looking for an evergreen vine. We hear that all the time. Folks want evergreen vines. Maybe a clematis is a great plant, right? But it's not evergreen. The Confederate jasmine does a spectacular job, and of course you get the beautiful flowers and the shade. Love that. Gorgeous. Look at this carex. This is the Everillo. So you can have Everillos, you've got the feather falls, and you can see, right? So here's the Everillo, and then back there we have the feather falls all throughout. Find those plants that work, my friends, and use them. Another sweet little basket with some violas or pansies in there. She has lots. I love this cute little, this is the first time me seeing this little hook, that little bird on that. So stinking cute. I have no idea where she got that, but it sure is cute. My daddy's whimsy again, right? So here we have, this was like an auger off of a piece of farm equipment, and then put that in the ground, acted as a post, and again, yet another birdhouse here has got the metal tin roof on it. There you go. Oak leaf hydrangeas, and of course, you are familiar probably, if you are a follower of ours, with the hand-blown glass yard art. Mimi is the one that has discovered the one-eared cow gallery in Columbia, South Carolina. They do gorgeous, beautiful stained glass, hand-blown yard art and house. So they have like Christmas ornaments, they have vases, they have all sorts of things. She was the one that gave these to me. Well, not these are hers, obviously, but I have some at the house. You might be familiar that I have the lanterns, and so she has a lantern as well too. However, Mimi doesn't have electricity right here, so she just loves it as an interest piece. So even though this is a lantern that if you hooked it up to electricity, it would glow and light up, she just uses it because this is filled with beautiful perennials, both hostas and ferns, stunning. So when in the spring and summer, you've got all this interest with this lantern. But in the summertime, in the wintertime rather, here you have this beautiful Savannah urn from Unique Stone with that in it. That too comes from the one-eared cow. You can check them out. They have, like I said, I'm going to say, sorry, not sorry for turning you on to that with, of course, more of the wind sculptures right here. Lenten, roses galore. And then these are her native azaleas. Now, there's not a whole lot of winter interest right now. They just look like sticks, right? Well, if you want to have plants and you want to have flowers in your early spring garden, y'all need to get some native azaleas, deciduous azaleas. These things are absolutely the most spectacular flowers. We can be driving from like the production down either to our house or the nursery, and you will see this whole corner because all of these in here are native azaleas, and they are unbelievable. So you get native azaleas, I think one of them is a beautiful pink, but you'll get bright yellow, bright oranges, reds, stunning. And so I'm telling you, right this second, not a lot of interest. Later on in the winter, in that early spring, you will be like, what is that plant? I'm gonna say, remember I told you it was the native azaleas? Well, there you go. That is what they are for sure. Stunning. I'm telling you, I have just slowly started to add some native azaleas to my garden, and I love it. So here we have this is what we call the walnut field, because we're very original with our names here, because this field right here has walnut trees. My daddy planted walnut trees, oh my gosh, I don't know how many years ago. And so this is Mimi's sunniest part of her garden. So she has got, you can see beautiful winter interest here with her spireas. So she has got the spireas. Of course, she has left up her echinaceas because she lets the birds come and eat the seed heads. So you have got the echinaceas right here. You have got her grasses. Look at these beautiful grasses, perennial grasses. Leave them up through the winter. Great interest. It is a great habitat for the birds because they will go in there. They can nest. They can hide from predators. This thing is stunning. Now let's see, there is a tag. Let's see if we can come down here and see exactly which one it is. Okay, here we go. Morning light. It is a miscanthus, so morning light, and you can see probably why it's called that. Look at those heads. Are they not just beautiful? So you got morning light right there. You have got, these look like some asters maybe right here. Nice evergreen foliage to them. Let's see if I can read that. It is very hard. Mimi makes her own tags. Yeah, it's a Stokes aster. It is something's pick. Starts with a P. Peaches? Phoebe's pick? I can't tell. It's starting to fade. Beautiful Stokes asters. So great native perennial. Nice evergreen foliage on it. And then of course loves those dry conditions. And yeah. Oh, look. Let's flip around right quick, y'all. Because look at the spirea on this side. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Oh my goodness. I'm trying to look for a tag. Mimi is out of town right now, so I don't know. She's not here for me to ask her. I don't know if these are doozies. I don't know what kind of spireas these are, but dear heavens, aren't those gorgeous? They look like a burning bush. They're not. Yeah, and so just kind of walking through Mimi is a huge bird lover, as I am, so you will see she will have, this is for like the butterflies, so it has the rocks in it, so any kind of butterflies, obviously I'm not going to have any butterflies right now. Dragonflies can come in here and drink, still has it out. Any kind of birds that want to drink, they certainly can. Yeah, and so she's got the bird houses and all sorts of things. I am so appreciative of Mimi letting me come tour her garden while she is away. She doesn't know that I'm doing this, but she won't mind because her shade garden just gives us great inspiration, whether it is the heat of the summer or the cool of the winter. Gorgeous interest in this garden through both the plants, the garden art, and just the whimsy, and it is a great inspiration to whatever kind of garden you have. So I am very grateful for her to let me come through here and take a little stroll through her garden. Hope you have found this fun, informative, and inspirational. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you in the next year. Next year. It might be next year. I don't know. How about the next video? We'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.